Abuna Mreuva, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
Yes, Denam?
At the Hagia Banhamuba, Sherri mentioned something called the Apocrypha.
The Apocrypha? I can't say I'm familiar.
The Dark Knights are a formidable foe. We must gird ourselves well if we are to confront them. You know this, Abuna. With the Apocrypha grimoires in our possession, the odds shift in our favor. Please, Abuna, tell me where they can be found.
The Apocrypha are kept hidden for a reason. They contain a dreadful power, more than any man should wield. I know of one such man, King Roderick of Brigantes. In the final days of Dorgalawa's Great War, Roderick used the Apocrypha in a desperate attempt to change the tide of the battle. His foes were wiped from the face of the earth, and his own armies with them. None save the Invoker survived.
What?
This did not deter the king. He used the Apocrypha at every turn. You may not know it, but the Brigania Flats was once a lush and fertile highland. The Apocrypha transformed it into the desolate waste it is today. Not even the laws of nature can withstand their power. Yet in the end, it was the Apocrypha that brought down King Roderick. Even as he won the war, he lost the love of his people. After the war's end, King Dorgalawa ordered the Apocrypha sealed away. The danger in the Apocrypha is not the knowledge itself, you see, but rather how it is used. King Roderick was not up to the task. Do you think you will fare better?
If you say you're beginning to wonder, you close this quest line and you cannot get the Apocrypha. If you've gone through this entire ordeal by clearing the 6 fortresses, I don't know why you'd pick number 1.
I am not King Roderick. I would never use such power so capriciously.
If that is the way you will lead, I am obliged to follow. The 8 Apocrypha were secreted throughout the Isles. I know the location of but 6. These are enshrined in temples, and each commands one of the elements. Of the remaining 2, light and dark, I know nothing.
Temples? I had heard that the 6 great fortresses of Valeria were once temples, but I saw nothing at any of them that would house so great an artifact.
Of course not. I sealed them where unknowing eyes would not find them. To open the temple doors requires an oracle.
Who are these oracles?
The daughters of the Abuna who forged the seal.
Your daughters?
Bring one of them with you to each of the fortresses, and the way will open for you. Touched by the goddesses within the temple, they may be made a true oracle, though they will serve you well in battle regardless.
And with that cutscene, we actually have unlocked the option to enter these dungeons, finally. However, you can enter the dungeons more than once. You just can't enter it a second time until you've cleared all of the dungeons once. You'll see. We're going to go to Lausanne Fortress, and I won't show you every battle because each of these maps has something like 7 or 8 fights.
O great Lunarum, goddess of ice, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
You start here, and I would like to point out that you can actually backtrack in order to clear out the outside of the fortress, and I would recommend you do so. We're not going to do so for this video, because I'm just showing you the highlights, essentially, the main point. But the reason why you'd want to do so is because you'd want to get your charms. Now, these charms are not farmable in that when you're done with it and you come back to this dungeon a later time, this becomes something like 30 copper overheard. You can't get more agility charms. So if you happen to miss them the first time, that's okay. You can maybe get it the next time you run through this dungeon. Pretty much it's always get a buff card. We're going to go back out of this. Perform an attack with 100% accuracy, obtain a buff card, and win without any incapacitated units. We can scout. Doesn't hurt. This is our target. A chimera with the body of a bird, shell of a turtle, and tail of a snake. It is said that Lionero, goddess of ice, turned a cruel king into this creature as punishment. As far as I know, all of these final boss monsters, avatars of the gods, essentially, not the gods themselves, they're the representative. How's that? Of the god, they're all beasts. Even one with a sprite of a golem, was it? I think it was a golem. Even though it looks like a golem, it still is registered as a beast, vulnerable to dragoons if you're having any trouble. With your victory, you'll get stuff like this, Ice Requiem. There are 2 water enemies, 8 ice enemies, and 2 earth enemies. Those Lamias are 3 archers, 2 witches, and 2 matriarchs.
I am servant to Lunerim, goddess of ice. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me and prove your quality before the goddess.
I played through those dungeons and I'm walking back and forth, and then I'm splicing in the next leg as seamlessly as I can. And then I'm inserting a soundtrack on top of it to make it look natural in a way. Obviously, anybody who's played the game knows that I'm not just magically making check marks, but these are the kind of the edits that I do. I'd like to thank Tivis J. Hans for commenting to let me know that there is someone watching these videos. One of the reasons why I mentioned my appreciation for the supportive comment was because I was trying to figure out if I should just jump straight from the entrance of the Apocrypha shrine where Surya said, "Hey, let me in," and jump straight to the battle. But I thought that might be a little jarring as editing, and I wasn't really sure if it was worth anybody's time to show the walking section. This is the first temple I'm recording over the weekend. And one of the reasons why it's taking so long is I ended up doing the Palace of the Dead a couple more times. You might remember that I'm trying to kind of keep my calendar days low, so I'm planning my campaign around that. There's absolutely no reason I can think of. I don't think there's even an achievement for a short number of days or anything like that. I'm not worried about that. It's just, these are the kind of little antics that I tend to do. Sometimes it's an achievement, sometimes it's not. So I try to maximize my efficiency. And in this case, since we are over here in this set of the world, I'm going to dive into the Palace of the Dead, and then we're going to come back out. Now, I've already played this segment on my own time. You know, that's one of the reasons why you don't have to sit there and wait for me to finish the Palace of the Dead in the video, that is, because I've already finished it. And now I'm recording this segment of the Ice Temple. As far as I know, at least the first time you fight him, it's 100% drop rate for a recipe book, the katana, and Ice Requiem. I mean, I haven't run it 100 times or anything, but I've run it a few times, and I've always seemed to get those items. What are you doing, cleric? Oh, I probably didn't even give her heal spells. She's probably running on zombie management. Hold on, let me check her out. As soon as the game lets me. Oh no, she's got spells. Zombie management, that's basically where I removed her heal spells, and I just let her follow my zombies around, and she's only there so that I can collect credit in the Palace of the Dead for having a cleric in my party. She doesn't need to do anything.
Magnificent.
New title earned, Slayer of the Ice Watch. You get a Steam achievement and a title for every one of the fortresses you clear. As I mentioned before, as we're over here, I'm just going to tag the Palace of the Dead real quick, and through the magic of editing, I'll be out before you know it. Then we'll return to Brigantes Castle and go through our junk, upgrading our relics and whatnot. And finally, we are now going to progress to the next fortress, Nadamsa. Yet, this is not even the final trip, if you want the best rewards.
O great Hanala, goddess of air, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
Perform an attack with 100% accuracy. Get a buff card and win without getting any incapacitated units. Veneta. Vainatia. The bird that pulls Hanala's chariot across the sky. Worshipped as a divinity, calls the strong winds that usher in the spring. The enemy army consists of 6 air-aligned units, 2 lightning, 2 fire, and 2 divine units. If we take a look at him compared with the Thunderfire, you will see that it's actually only 16 damage points different. The Thunderfire has a lower attack base than the Shimmer Sword. It also has lower slash enhancement than the Shimmer Sword. The Shimmer Sword is fire-based. I'm letting you know that I have tested, even though he's lightning, I have tested his Thunder Wave finishing move using both the fire and the lightning katanas, and he still does more damage with the fire katana. So this number does represent accurately his affinity bonus. The minor attack difference, the 6 points extra attack value here and the 2 points extra enhancement bonus here, overwhelms his elemental affinity. While it is nice to be lightning themed, in this case it didn't really help him that much. Perhaps this will change later on when we get more items or something, but currently that is why he uses the Shimmer Sword.
I am servant to Hanala, goddess of air. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me and prove your quality before the goddess.
So I think that's my 3rd run of Palace of the Dead, without even having finished the game yet. And so far, one of the things I'd recommend is set up all 5 parties. My 5th party has 3 people in it. 4th party has 6 people in it. 3rd party has 8 people in it. 2nd party has 10 people in it. And 1st party has 12 people in it. You could reverse that if you want, but those are the numbers of people I have for my formations, and I try not to bother too much with it. The first couple runs I did, I would perhaps clear my way to a shop. Well, the first run I didn't know that there were shops. So the second run I tried to clear my way to a shop and then put in a beast tamer and try recruiting monsters as soon as I had access to the shop, and then auction those off at the store. One of the reasons why I have to do it that way is because I have so many characters that I hit the union cap of 100 units a long time ago. All I'm doing now is I'm just letting my zombies run amok, and then I look back at the screen whenever the victory flag is waving and catching my eye. I imagine eventually, the next time I go into Farampa Wildwood, I will attempt to recruit a second Terror Knight zombie to replace a skeleton zombie. Skeletons have 1 higher RT value than regular units. Maybe that is just me not being worried about experience charms, and perhaps other people are. I really don't think so. I'm going to assume everybody is fighting always at the level cap. or playthroughs past the first one, and the level sync. So the way the level sync in the game works is once you finish the game, you have this option that is toggleable in your deployment screen that says level sync on or off, and you just click the button on, your equipment and your stats drop down to something compatible with the enemy's stats. However, it doesn't mean that it is an exact replica. While I was waiting for my chance to record today, I was going through the training mode with a new union, essentially. It's not a new save file, I just dismissed everybody. And I entered the training mode in and out, scouting the enemy, and then writing down when certain things appeared. Because I always kind of knew that they were dependent on levels. Certain items might appear only on level 33. Certain items might only appear on level 41. If you're fighting, say, an enemy at level 36, like my characters are, like my union level's 36, and that is perhaps the enemy stats, it doesn't mean that my equipped weapon will de-level down to 33. It's just going to be a slightly weaker version of my 41 blade or whatever I'm wielding, and it's going to be stronger than a default 33 blade, if that makes sense to you. So there are still advantages to having stronger equipment. It's not going to be automatically downgraded to say, a Balder sword or a Scorpion or something. It's just the stats on those weapons will degrade somewhat. Anyways, with all that chatter about the level scaling aside, I'm just assuming that everybody's always going to be at the cap.
Magnificent.
I am magnificent, thank you. Get the fist, the crossbow, cudgel, and whip, and then, of course, the Apocrypha spell. Let's take a real quick look at that Apocrypha anyways, while we're at it. I can't even equip it right now, but we can take a look at it. Arcana. So this was right here. I mean, this is all we know about it. Oops, I always forget I can't move the mouse up to the top. An indirect air spell that creates a powerful shockwave, dealing heavy air damage to multiple targets. Has a chance to inflict air averse. It has an area of 2. I mean, I was hoping for something way more impressive, like just area of 5 or something. It's a range of 3. That's pretty sad. And it can only be equipped over here, as we can see, by a Witcher, an Astromancer, which we don't have, Dark Priest, which we don't have, but we have the base character for that, Princess, that's what we do have, and a Lich. Now there is another class that we're on the process of unlocking called the Shaman. We don't have any Shaman yet, but at the conclusion of completing all these fortresses, we will unlock the Shaman class. Alright, to the next dungeon. I did have a save file right before the boss of each fortress, but in order to create the illusion of walking through each room, I'm actually refighting those battles.
O great Nestora, goddess of lightning, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
Perform an attack with 100% accuracy, obtain a buff card, and no incapacitated units. The enemy consists of 8 lightning, 2 fire, and 2 air-aligned creatures. Zolotto, the Storm Beast, survived from the days of the Ogre battle. Once a scourge upon mankind, Zolotto was captured by heroes who had received the protection of Nestora, goddess of lightning. Now he serves as her temple guardian.
I am servant to Nestora, goddess of lightning. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me and prove your quality before the goddess.
So he mentions becoming an oracle, and I said that you cannot unlock the shaman class, that's the oracle, until you've completed all 6 dungeons. You also cannot re-enter any of the dungeons, fortresses, shrines, whatever you want to call it, until you've completed the oracle quest, meaning you must clear everything, and then you can start farming the dungeons to your heart's content if you wanted more spells. But most importantly, if you wanted more marks. Now, according to my spreadsheet, Sherri is the only competent shaman in my notes. Competent as in if you pit her against her sisters, she is much stronger as a shaman than them. That being said, I do appreciate the Rune Fencer's hit points, so I'm not going to be bent out of shape about having leveled Sistina up as a Rune Fencer up to 36 or something. But if it came down to it, if I needed to, I could always, in a future playthrough, dismiss my Sistina and just get a new Sistina and then level her up solely as a shaman. Now that I've played the game enough to have that class mark, if I were to go back to basically what you call a New Game Plus or World Mode or whatever you like to call it. New Game Plus is what people traditionally call it, although it has been around even before Chrono Trigger, because I remember doing that kind of stuff back in the TSR Gold Box days. You'd export your characters and then just import them at the beginning and play again. Anyways. But yeah, if you really wanted to make your shamans super intelligent, rather than super beefy as hit points, then yes, you could always world back, get the characters again, class mark them with the things that you got from the end of the game immediately, and then enjoy your fruits of your labors from there. This is pretty much my palace army, that's why my cleric is running around flying, though I don't know why they insist on flying forward to hit an enemy for 1 damage. Could be that she's level 50, and the enemy thinks that there's no danger whatsoever. Nice. It is funny to see, though it does suck not to get the loot. However, since we're just writing this for recording purposes, we're not farming the loot in the slightest. On my playthrough, I kill everybody off and get cards and loot. In case this is your first video and you didn't watch episode 1 or had Quadriga Fortress in it, I was really disappointed with how long that took as a recording. It didn't need to be that long, but because I wanted so badly to maximize each battle map, it took 3 times longer than it needed to be. So that's why my recording battles are much more abridged. I want to give you more content over a shorter period of time rather than dragging things out. I mean, if I wanted to drag things, I could make each episode the shrine, because each shrine has like 6 or 7 battles. But instead, I'm trying to give you all the shrines, all 6 shrines in the 1 episode. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if it'll edit out that way. I have a lot of charms that Denam has not yet eaten from my 3rd palace run. I'm going to eat them after I'm done with the 4th palace run. Once we resume the story, I will eat 200 floors of the Palace of the Dead worth of charms on Denam, by the way, so he's going to be even stronger, and maybe that just makes people sick. I don't know. I like being overpowered. I don't have a problem with Denam having invincible stats. Now, the second time through each of these dungeons, the same beast will be here, though you don't have to bring Denam the next time. The first time, you do have to bring Denam. And even though he doesn't say anything, it's because it's a dialogue battle, he has to be a part of it. He has to hear it, I suppose. But in future battles, you will fight that same dude again.
Magnificent.
Slayer of the Lightning Watch. Let's head on to the 4th Fortress, Oed.
Oh, great Zoshanel, goddess of fire, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
Accuracy, buff, and incapacitated, which I clicked through. Ifrit, a creature of fire and a powerful elemental. Ifrit once wreaked havoc among the villages and towns of man until Zoshanel, goddess of fire, caught him and trapped him within an urn. After many centuries, Ifrit repented and now serves as Zoshanel's temple guardian.
I am servant to Zoshanel, goddess of fire. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me and prove your quality before the goddess.
I don't really comprehend, I suppose, this whole temple guardian business. I mean, yes, I know I edited them out, but there are humans and such along the way to fight here. Are they a civilization? Lives, breeds, and dies down here? Because this place was sealed for who knows how long. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. I guess King Dorgalua sealed them. If he sealed them, they couldn't, I guess, they could possibly be the same first generation. But nonetheless, every time you enter this dungeon or shrine, it is repopulated. Fully. Cyclops, the Umbra, the humans, everything is back to normal. Maybe you're not killing them? Who knows? Well, Warren doesn't agree. He says that you're killing them. Now, I have a lot of lancers, and I would like my hawkmen to be lightning lancers, rune fencers, so they can really emphasize that Giga Tempest. Would like more knights to be fire, so that they can crimson reach with their hammers, explosive crossbow bolts. I mean, around episode 15 or so, not quite sure where it is in the scheme of things, I did a lot of research into elemental weapons, elemental finishers, and all of that. And so I've kind of made my own list of finishing moves and what elements fall under which weapon categories. So once I have all the what I perceive as all the kinds of relics and weapons, I will combine that with my finishing move list to come up with the best element for certain classes. For example, you may, by this point, having watched any of my episodes, know that people with water, I tend to give whips to, because there is a water finishing move in there. Well, if I can combine that with the relics, I think I'd be one tier higher than constantly combining my affinities, which I do, and I do get good results from it. Like I mentioned a long time ago, one of the advantages of having such a large army is I can field pretty much any affinity I want. If I need earth, I've definitely got that. By this point, though, I have 3 fire and 3 lightning. Not very much. Mostly because the high-level units I'm replacing them with are from areas that have they don't feature fire and lightning. I haven't found a fire and lightning dungeon besides these shrines. I did manage to get a lightning fusilier who is Balbodian, only because, and I only recruited them because I still believe a fusilier has higher stats when you recruit them, and I liked him having a different nationality. I want to try to diversify my army more. I believe I turned him into a dragoon because I already have something like 2 or 3 fusiliers. For the first chunk of the game, I was heavily reliant on using a lot of hammer weapons and axe weapons because they had ice attacks, and I was running into so many different air units. One of the times we went to Port Ashland, I had mentioned that I was fighting so many air units. While by fielding hammers and axes with ice finishers, I was basically crushing them left and right. And the reason I'm mentioning this now is that we just saw my ice finishers used against fire, which is actually weak to fire. Ice is good against air.
Magnificent.
Slayer of the Firewatch. When I was planning doing saving and scripting my first time through, I actually attacked these 2 areas, and I was going to apologize in advance for doing them during a side quest video, because I tried to keep things thematically or as a concept in its own encapsulated video. Well, after completing the last dungeon, I had unlocked the ability to enter the dungeons again, the shrine, so I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to do this over. That's when I realized I was going to do them all over again, a next time essentially, and get the super upgrade. I loaded to after completing Oed Fortress and did it over without having touched those storyline missions. I'm just gonna bypass them all and go straight to the Oed Fortress. And it will still be effective and efficient use of our calendar.
great cruiser, goddess of water, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
Accuracy, buff card, incapacitated units. The enemy consists of 8 water, 2 ice, and 2 earth units.
I am servant to Gruza, goddess of water. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me and prove your quality before the goddess.
That is quite the accent for an octopus. Alright, let's take a look at Tolok's class information. Said to have been born from the tears of Gruza, goddess of water, shed for her lost son. Tolok has been called a god of rain and of disasters. When the great winds blow and the floods come, people say it is the work of Tolok. I mean, maybe that is a Celtic-style name, but if I weren't prompted with that accent, I would probably assume that it was Aztec name. So this is pretty much my Palace of the Dead squad. I don't have that many undead units. I'm not saying that this is the end-all, be-all, efficient zombie running team. These are just the ones that I have at the time. I have 3 Terror Knights, and they're good for making sure that the enemy has debuffs so that the battles go faster. And the main reason I have the Clerics is just to exercise enemies and get more loot. Also, there in a good chunk of the Palace of the Dead sub-objectives or bonus objectives is have a cleric along. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can have a zombie cleric. Well, I definitely can't make my own because I am doing no incaps. I have not found any zombie clerics. Even if I couldn't cast any divine magic, I'd be okay with it because it would fulfill the objective. I just wouldn't be able to exercise any enemies. But it'd be a decent trade-off. However, since my cleric is level 50, they tend not to soak up a lot of damage, especially if I put the stinky gear on them and leave them alone. Okay, I don't even know. I mean, I assume that the AI thinks getting 1 damage is better than getting 100 mana. Yeah, I guess damage being the most valuable thing to the AI. But since I'm now looking at the ghost, I'll let you know something. In my tests, Sarah and Voltaire cannot become liches. Those are the named units that have a dynamic sprite, meaning that they look like totally a normal archer and a normal knight, and you can change them to any other class and they will look like that class instead. Meaning that they have no special appearance. Whereas, for example, if I took Denam and changed him to a cleric or a wizard, he looks like what he looks like now. Well, those 2 units cannot become a lich. I don't know why. Probably has something to do with that, though. Canopus, on the other hand, even though he cannot change to, say, a necromancer or anything like that, he can totally use the Ring of the Dead. So in my spreadsheet, I have adjusted their numbers for that appropriately, meaning that it will gauge Canopus's worthiness as a lich compared to his other classes such as Vartan, Beast Tamer, Cleric, Wizard, Archer, and Warrior. And it will make sure that Sarah and Voltaire are not eligible for any weights or values for being a lich. I mean, it's just something small I've noticed while I was working on my own database of information. I have unlocked most of the classes. There's a couple of them that I haven't gotten yet. Let's see here. Azostan, he can become a ranger. I haven't gauged whether or not I want him as a ranger or buccaneer. Currently, he's a buccaneer using one of my air-aligned two-handed sword, which has air finishers. That's why I assigned him that. But maybe it might not be the best. I haven't really used him. Although in normal gameplay, you would use your named characters as much as possible because they have better stats and better RT values. Because this is for YouTube, because this is for uploading video. Try to bring named audience participants over, even if they have no idea that I've named characters after them.
Magnificent.
Slayer of the Water Watch. You have one last fortress to hit. Once we've hit this, well, every time we defeated the boss, it has ejected us out. Once we've defeated this one, it actually won't eject us out, giving you kind of a hint, and it's probably an unintentional hint, but giving you a kind of a hint that the mechanics of the fortresses have changed.
O Vasa, goddess of earth, admit me unto your sacred sanctum.
Accuracy buff card incapacitated. Alright, for this, I've gone ahead and assembled a team just slightly different than the normal one we've been running for the previous ones. Since this is an Earth place, we've decided to bring some extra air units. So I take a look at the enemy group. If we wanted to count the enemy, this is how I would typically do it. We can see here that there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 earth enemies and 2 water and 2 ice. Now, there are some undead units here. However, our soldiers will have, if they are incapable of wearing a dagger, then they will instead bring a sword. That sword is the Oricion. I'm not sure I said that right. Oricion? It has the exorcism ability locked into it. My rune fencers, who cannot wield daggers, will instead wield holy blades to put the enemy down. Oh, sorry, I forgot to read the enemy's bio. I mentioned at the very beginning that even though this is clearly a golem, it is listed as a beast, because this isn't a golem in the traditional sense, it's just the golem sprite or model. Natalor, a beast man, said to have been created by Vasa, goddess of earth, to serve her in eternity. Called the Ravager for his violence, Vasa uses him as a watchdog.
I am servant to Vasa, goddess of earth. You who would become a true oracle must face a trial. Defeat me, and prove your quality before the goddess.
At the conclusion of every fight, we were getting at least one crafting book and a super elemental spell. But I didn't have any of the shaman marks. Because this is the 6th and last shrine we'll be hitting, it's not because it's this shrine, it's because this is the 6th shrine, we will be getting an oracle mark at the conclusion of this battle. At that time, we can change any of these sisters or the Ned into a shaman. I really like the free spells that I get from these relics. I haven't even finished climbing down the stairs and already mopping the floor with these enemies. No, I'm not looking for a challenge. I'm looking for a spectacle. There are no clerics in this team. Those hawkmen are rune fencers and archers. The lizardmen up front are hoplites. However, the goal isn't even to vanquish all enemies, the goal is to take down Nathalork. Even if I couldn't exorcise these guys, it wouldn't matter. The conclusion of this episode, we'll go ahead and create a shaman just to show you what it looks like, and we'll retreat back to where the next episode will start. So we'll retreat to Fight Out Castle. However, just know that I will be going through the shrines one more time to unlock the level 2 version of these spells. Whatever the name of this spell of Earth that this guy gives me, he'll give me level 1. You have to emerge from the surface, basically level 0, fight your way all the way down to the 5th level. I'm going to do that for all of the shrines again, clear them out, and get the 2nd level of each element. The reason why I couldn't do it before is because you can't re-enter any of those dungeons until you've cleared them all. So I have to do another world circuit. Poor guy.
Magnificent. A true oracle you are. Unto you I grant the revelation and power of the goddess.
I'm gonna assume that every final shrine, that voice actor for the monster will have that specific line if he's your 6th shrine. I hope you forgive me for not going and seeking each one of those out. That concludes all of the side quests currently available to us before we besiege Heim. So now we have finally received an Oracle's Mark. And we have achieved Slayer of the Earth Watch. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. We'll use Surya only because she was the one that opened each one of these. Change class, so we get 3 Shaman marks, also known as Oracle. Now we can equip Supernova, or the one we just got, Earthquake. Since our sisters are color-coded, they will be wielding the appropriate one. So Arrow Flux for the air one, Thunderburst for the lightning one. Is there a lightning one? No, there is no lightning one. We don't have a lightning sister. I guess we could always make Denam that, but it's fine. I'm not that worried about it. Am I missing one? I can't be. Oh, there it is. Why is it after the Apocrypha? Oh, I must have sorted or something since that battle. Alright. Let's go ahead and draw. In the next episode, we'll continue the storyline and we'll be overpowered for it. I hope you enjoy watching our enemies flee before us. And you can see here that the fortresses all have little red outlines, indicating that you can begin farming them for materials, what have you. I'm going to go ahead and retreat our avatar to Fightout Castle, where the next episode will begin from. Thank you very much for watching Tran Wins, Tactics Ogre Reborn. I'll see you next time.